Off with the color that you choose. You get to start with your base color, and this is going to be the darkest part of your value scale because we're not adding any white to it yet. I'm going to start off with a trunk because I am drawing a tree, and you're just going to put that on there. And now I'm going to do what most trees do, which is they start to go off into two parts. If you look at most trees, you'll notice that they go off like that, but then they continue to divide as they go. No tree grows perfectly, symmetrically all the time, but there is a basic shape. So what I just did was I started here and then I made a V. Now what I'm doing here is I'm going from here and I'm making a V there. So I'm going to take this one that's growing here and I'm going to make it into a V. But just to make it more interesting, maybe I'm going to make my V coming off to the side like that. Now what I'm going to do is come over here and turn this one into a V. So I'm going to come off from here. Then I can come over here and turn this into a V. I can turn this into a V. I can start to do kind of a wiggly V if I wanted to. I'm going to come here and turn that into some, I can start to make my tree be kind of creepy if I get like really. And notice that the higher I get, the narrower I'm going to make it. My branches and the trunk of my tree are going to be the widest, but as we go up, it's going to get narrower and narrower. So let me catch up over here. I'm going to turn this into a V. Now I might even have my V start to cross over ones from before. That's okay. Trees don't grow like little fingertips going. Trees don't go like this. They start to intertwine over each other. So I'm going to make my V coming here. So I'm just going to continue to V out here all over the place. Coming here. Now, obviously trees don't go in perfect V's all the time. So if you want to start to add some different things to it, if I want to come over here and add something extra over here, I can certainly do that. Trees do not grow all in just one way. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to have to start to figure out my value scale. I am doing my tree here. I'm getting that basic part down, and that's the first thing you're going to do. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start mixing this in with white, because if you remember how Mondrian did it, what he started to do is fill in. If you look here at this one, you'll be able to see that what I started to do after a while was I took the paint and I started to add white. And then what I did was I started to fill in between all of those parts that I made. Now, there's something that comes into it with texture too. Notice here that sometimes when I was filling in, I would go crossways like this. I would do all these different shapes when I would fill it in. You are going to be able to create your own background on there with all those different types of value. So while I've been talking about that, I've been filling in my tree over here. I'm going to come right back to you and show you how we're going to mix up our value. Possible everywhere. Your job instead is to fill in the spaces in between. Remember how I told you, look at how much of that paint I wiped off, and yet still, when putting it in here, how much of it shows up. Now you can do different textures like this, you can move around, or you can go in a row. You're also going to come in between here, and you're going to fill in between your branches.